The latest DC Comics woke movie, Batgirl, may be one of the biggest disappointments in Hollywood history, as Warner Brothers has decided to shelve the picture for being, quote, irredeemable. Wow. How bad does the movie have to be for a film studio to eat a $90 million budget loss? Instead of just releasing it and seeing what happens? More on this. Let me bring in the host of Counterculture with Danielle D'Souza. Danielle D'Souza. Good to see you, Danielle.
Hi, Buck. Thanks for having me.
So help us think through this one. Because also, as you know, there's already reporting that it's a Batgirl movie with a female Latina lead with a lot of woke themes and all kinds of social justice undertones, etc. The Daily Mail is reporting that despite being completely finished and reportedly having cost $90 million, Batgirl will never be released in any format, not even on one of the internet streaming services that often seem willing to broadcast anything, basically. How did this happen?
Well, I think that's how we know that this film was not just boring. It wasn't just a flop. It wasn't just a dud, because then they would have put it on a streaming service. They would have made back some of their money. But instead, they looked at it and thought, oh my gosh, this film is too embarrassing to literally release, to have our name on it or our brand on it. And so they said, we have to just completely can this. And so I think when it comes down to it, they probably thought, you know what, we can add wokeness, we can add these extra characters, we can change, the race, the gender, and all of this stuff. But then eventually, when it goes too far, they look at it and it just becomes painful to watch. And they probably said, we can't even have people watch this.
It's remarkable. I mean, what do you think is going through the minds of the execs? I mean, at this point, I've got to say, this could almost be a fascinating marketing campaign in a sense, because now I actually really want to watch this, or at least try to get through 10 or 15 minutes of it. I'm fascinated to see how you could spend $90 million on it. There are plenty of movies that have lost $100 million. You can look up the biggest box office bombs of all time, Ishtar, Heaven's Gate, Pluto Nash, 13th Warrior, all these movies. I think that you have to wonder, the executives that greenlit this, are they doing that because they're worried that the woke mob will come for them if they don't? And so it's almost like this is the cost of being an executive today at Warner Brothers?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine those execs, sitting on armchairs and thinking, okay, this is going to be woke, this is Batgirl and all this stuff. And they probably saw it and were just completely shocked and thinking, okay, there's only so far we can take wokeness, because when you push wokeness so far, eventually you obviously isolate most of the country. But then the actual woke people start canceling you as well, because then they start saying, oh, well, you put this person in that position of power and all of this other stuff. And so eventually you just have nothing left. And so I think it ultimately came down to them saying, we just have to save face, because we literally can't do either of the things we're supposed to do as executives. And that's entertain people through entertainment or make money. So they thought, this is not entertaining, and we also cannot make money.